a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Sword Art Online is a Japanese light novel series written by Reki Kawahara and illustrated by Abeck. The series takes place in the near future and focuses on protagonist Kazuto, Kirito, Kirigaya, and Asuna Yuki as they play through various virtual reality MMORPG worlds. The light novels began publication on ASCII Media Works Dengeki Bunko imprint from April 10, 2009, with a spin-off series launching in October 2012. The series has spawned 8 manga adaptations published by ASCII Media Works and Kadokawa, the novels, and 4 of the manga adaptations have been licensed for release in North America by Yen Press. An anime television series produced by A1 Pictures, known simply as Sword Art Online, aired in Japan between July and December 2012, with television film Sword Art Online Extra Edition airing on December 31, 2013, and a second season, titled Sword Art Online 2, airing between July and December 2014. An animated film titled Sword Art Online the Movie, ordinal scale featuring an original story by Kawahara premiered in Japan and Southeast Asia on February 18, 2017, and was released in the United States on March 9, 2017. A spin-off anime series titled Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online premiered in April 2018, while a third season titled Sword Art Online Alicization will premiere on October 6, 2018. A live-action series will be produced by Netflix. 6 video games based on the series have been released for multiple consoles. Sword Art Online has received widespread commercial success, with the light novels having over 20 million copies sold worldwide. The anime series has received mixed to positive reviews, praised for its animation, musical score, and exploration of the psychological aspects of virtual reality, but criticized for its pacing and writing. Setting: the light novel series spans several virtual reality worlds, beginning with the titular world of Sword Art Online. Each world is built on a game engine called the World Seed, which was initially developed specifically for SAO by Akihiko Kayaba, but was later duplicated for Alo, and later willed to Kirito, who had it leaked online with the successful intention of reviving the virtual reality industry. Plot: in 2022, a virtual reality massively multiplayer online role-playing game called Sword Art Online is released. With the Nerve Gear, a helmet that stimulates the user's 5 senses via their brain, players can experience and control their in-game characters with their minds. Both the game and the Nerve Gear was created by Akihiko Kayaba. On November 6, 10th, players log into the SAO's mainframe cyberspace for the first time, only to discover that they are unable to log out. Kayaba appears and tells the players that they must beat all 100 floors of Einkrad, a steel castle which is the setting of SAO, if they wish to be free. Those who suffer in-game deaths or forcibly remove the Nerve Gear out of game will suffer real-life deaths. One of the players, named Kazuto, Kirito, Kirigaya, is one of 1,000 testers in the game's previous closed beta. With the advantage of previous VR gaming experience and a drive to protect other beta testers from discrimination, he isolates himself from the greater groups and plays the game alone, bearing the mantle of beta, a portmanteau of beta tester and cheater. As the players progress through the game, Kirito eventually befriends a young girl named Asuna Yuki, forming a relationship with and later marrying her in-game. After the duo discover the identity of Kayaba's secret ID, who was playing as the leader of the guild Asuna joined in, they confront and destroy him, freeing themselves and the other players from the game. In the real world, Kazuto discovers that 300 SAO players, including Asuna, remain trapped in their Nerve Gear. As he goes to the hospital to see Asuna, he meets Shozuyuki, Asuna's father, who is asked by an associate of his, Nobuyuki Shugu, to make a decision, which Shugu later reveals to be his marriage with Asuna, angering Kazuto. Several months later, he is informed by Agil, another SAO survivor, that a figure similar to Asuna was spotted on the World Tree, in another Vork cyberspace called Alfheim Online. Assisted in-game by his cousin Sugua, Lifa, Kirigaya, and Yui, a navigation pixie. He quickly learns that the trapped players in Alu are part of a plan conceived by Shugu to perform illegal experiments on their minds. The goal is to create the perfect mind control for financial gain, and to subjugate Asuna, whom he intends to marry in the real world, to assume control of her family's corporation. Kirito eventually stops the experiment and rescues the remaining 300 SAO players, foiling Shugu's plans. Before leaving Alu to see Asuna, Kayaba, who has uploaded his mind to the internet using an experimental and destructively high-power version of nerve gear at the cost of his life, entrusts Kirito with the seeder package program designed to create virtual worlds. Kazuto eventually reunites with Asuna in the real world and the seed is released onto the internet, reviving Aincrad as other Vorks begin to thrive. Soon after, at the prompting of a government official investigating strange occurrences in VR, Kazuto takes on a job to investigate a series of murders involving another Vork called Gun Gale Online, the Amu Sphere, and a player called Death Gun, aided by a female player named Shino Asada. He participates in a gunfight tournament called the Bullet of Bullets and discovers the truth behind the murders, which originated with a player who participated in a player-killing guild in SAO. Through his and Sinan's efforts, 2 suspects are captured, though the third suspect, Johnny Black, escapes. Kazuto is later recruited to assist in testing an experimental full-dive machine, Soul Translator, which has an interface that is far more realistic and complex than the previous machine he had played to help develop an artificial intelligence for the Ministry of Defense named ALICE. He tests the STL by entering a virtual reality cyberspace created with the seed package, named Underworld. In the UW, the flow of time proceeds 1,000 times faster than in the real world, and Kirito's memories of what happens inside are restricted. However, Black injures Kazuto with succinylthonium chloride. The mod recovers Kazuto and places him back into the STL to preserve his mind while attempts are made to save him. Development. Reki Kawahara wrote the first volume in 2002 as a competition entry for ASCII Media Works, but refrained from submitting it as he had exceeded the page limit. He instead published it as a web novel under the pseudonym Fumio Kiyonori. Over time, he added 3 further episodes and several short stories. In 2008, he participated in the competition again by writing A Cell World, this time winning the grand prize. Aside from A Cell World, he was requested to get his earlier work, Sword Art Online, published by ASCII Media Works. He agreed and withdrew his web novel versions. For the character protagonist Kirito, Kawahara was asked if Kirito's personality and character were based on his own. He answered that he usually does not put aspects of himself into his characters, and jokingly remarked, "But if I had to say there was a point of similarity between Kirito and myself, it is the fact that neither of us are good at forming parties. We both tend to play solo in these games a lot." He also noted that the female characters in the story were not based on anyone he knew in the real world, stating, "I don't usually make a character, setting, or anything before I start writing. As I write the story, the girls become what they are now. So, somehow, I don't know exactly, but somehow, my subliminal idea or some hidden emotion creates the characters to be strong and capable." He added that he wrote the series to demonstrate that he views online gaming not as a social ill or escape from real life, but rather decided to show games in a more positive light in his light novels. He noted that the character of Asuna I might have created a little too perfectly for Sword Art Online. Light novels. After Kawahara's request for Sword Art Online to be published was approved, he started working with illustrator Raybeck on the light novel series. The first volume was published in print on April 10, 2009. And 20 volumes have been published as of September 8, 2017. Kawahara also writes the Sword Art Online progressive series, which covers Kirito's adventures on the first few floors of Aincrad. The first volume of Progressive was released on October 10, 2012, and 4 volumes have been released as of December 10, 2015. the first volume of a light novel series based on Sword Art Online titled Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online, written by Kiichi Sigsawa with illustrations by Kuo Akukuraboshi, was published by ASCII Media Works on December 10, 2014. An original 100-page prequel novel to Sword Art Online the movie, ordinal scale written by Kawahara, titled Hopeful Chant, was released to people who watched the film in Japan during March 4, 2017. At their Japan Expo USA panel, Yen Press announced the rights to publish the light novels. The first volume was released on April 22, 2014. Yen Press later announced their license of the Sword Art Online progressive series, which is scheduled for release in 2015. The novels are also published in China, Taiwan, South Korea, Thailand, and Vietnam, with future plans for publications in France, Germany, Italy, Austria, Switzerland and others. There are a number of doujinshi written by Kawahara under the pseudonym Fumio Kiyonori, titled. An 80-page assemblage of some of the Material Edition volumes was published on February 13, 2011. The latest release is Material Edition Volume 25 on November 23, 2017. The author has also created some other doujinshi including Lisbeth Edition, Silica Edition and Kino Edition under cooperation with Kurisu Tatsuya from Pons.info. It is reported that these doujinshi gained traction from the involvement of the original author in its creation process, as well as from supplying more details on characters from the original work. Manga. There are 10 manga adaptations of the series, all written by Reki Kawahara and published by ASCII Media Works. Illustrated by Tomoko Nakamura, was serialized in Denjiki Bunko magazine between the September 2010 and May 2012 issues. 2 tankobon volumes of Aincrad were released on September 27, 2012. A comedy 4-panel manga, titled and illustrated by Josei Minami, began serialization in the September 2010 issue of Denjiki Bunko magazine. The first volume of Sword Art Online was released on September 27, 2012. A third manga, titled and illustrated by Hazuki Tsubasa, began serialization in the May 2012 issue of Denjiki Bunko magazine. The first volume of Fairy Dance was released on October 27, 2012. The third volume was released on June 27, 2014. The Aincrad and Fairy Dance manga have been acquired for release in North America by Yen Press. The first volume of Aincrad was published on March 25, 2014. A spin-off manga starring Lisbeth, Silica, and Lifa, titled and illustrated by Neko Nekobio, began serialization in the July 2013 issue of Denjiki Bunko magazine. Girls Ops was licensed by Yen Press in November 2014, the first volume of which was released on May 19, 2015. A manga adaptation of Sword Art Online, progressive, illustrated by Kiseki Himura, began serialization in the August 2013 issue of Denjiki G's magazine. The manga ended serialization in the magazine's May 2014 issue and was transferred to Denjiki G's comic starting with the June 2014 issue. The progressive manga adaptation has been licensed by Yen Press, with the first 2 volumes released in January and April 2015, respectively. A 6th manga, titled Sword Art Online, Phantom Bullet and illustrated by Kotaro Yamada, had its first chapter serialized in the May 2014 issue of Denjiki Bunko magazine, with following chapters being digitally serialized on Kadokawa's Comic Walker website. A 7th manga, titled Sword Art Online, Caliber and illustrated by Shikiya, was serialized in Denjiki G's comic between the September 2014 and July 2015 issues. A single compilation volume was released on August 10, 2015. An 8th manga, titled Sword Art Online, Mother's Rosario and also by Tsubasa, is based on the 7th volume of the novel series and began serialization in the July 2014 issue of Denjiki Bunko magazine. A 9th manga, an adaptation of Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online, began serialization in the November 2015 issue of Denjiki Mao. A 10th manga, titled Sword Art Online, Project Alicization and illustrated by Kotaro Yamada, based on the Alicization arc of the light novel series. Began serialization in the September 2016 issue of Dengeki Bunko magazine. Anime. An anime adaptation of Sword Art Online was announced at Dengeki Bunko Autumn Festival 2011, along with Reki Kawahara's The Other Light Novel series, A Cell World. The anime is produced by Aniplex and Genko. Animated by A1 Pictures and directed by Tomohiko Ito with music by Yuki Kaji Ugura. The anime aired on Tokyo MX, TVK, TVS, TVA, RKB, HBC and EMPS between July 7 and December 22, 2012, and on ATX, Chiba TV, and BS11 at later dates. The series was also streamed on Crunchyroll and Hulu. The anime is adapted from the first 4 novels and parts of Volume 7. The anime has been licensed in North America by Aniplex of America, and an English-language dub premiered on Adult Swim's Toonami from July 27, 2013 to February 15, 2014. The series was released by Aniplex of America in 4 DVD and Blu-ray sets, with special extras on the BD sets, between August 13 and November 19, 2013. Manga Entertainment released the first series on BD/DVD in the United Kingdom in December 2013, whilst Madman Entertainment released the series in Australia, and the English-language version began airing on ABC3 on June 7, 2014. Sword Art Online has been available on Netflix in North America since March 15, 2014. A year-end special, titled Sword Art Online Extra Edition, aired on December 31, 2013. The special recapped the previously aired anime series and included some new footage. Extra Edition was streamed worldwide a few hours after its airing in Japan. The 2-hour-long special was available on Daisuki worldwide except for French-speaking areas, as well as China and Korea. Daisuki offered subtitles in various languages such as English, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and German. English-speaking countries, Mexico, Central and South America could also watch the stream on Crunchyroll. Extra Edition was also simulcast in Korea on Aniplus cable channel, and in China on the La TV streaming website. French-speaking countries could watch on the Wakanim streaming website. The Blu-ray disc and DVD of Extra Edition was released on April 23, 2014 in Japan. The limited edition included a Yui character song titled Heart Sweet Heart by Kane Ito and an original side story written by Kawahara titled At the End of the Special. The anime television series was confirmed for a second season, titled Sword Art Online 2, which premiered on July 5, 2014. The first 14 episodes of the second season is an adaptation of Volumes 5 and 6 the light novels that cover the Phantom Bullet arc. Episodes 15 to 17 cover the Calibre arc from Volume 8 of the novels, with episodes 18 to 24 covering Volume 7 of the novels, the Mother's Rosario arc. Premiere screening events of the second season were held in the United States, France, Germany, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea and Japan before the television premiere between June 29 and July 4, 2014, at Katsukan. It was announced that the English dub of the second season would air on Toonami beginning March 28, 2015. An animated film titled Sword Art Online the Movie, Ordinal Scale featuring an original story by Kawahara set after the events of Sword Art Online 2 premiered in Japan and Southeast Asia on February 18, 2017, and was released in the United States on March 9, 2017. The third season of Sword Art Online, titled Sword Art Online, Alicization and a spin-off anime, titled Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online, were announced in 2017. Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online, animated by 3 Hertz, premiered in April 2018. Sword Art Online, Alicization is due to air on October 6, 2018, with a 1-hour world premiere airing in Japan, the United States, Australia, France, Germany, Russia and South Korea on September 15, 2018. It will be aired for 4 cours and will adapt the novel's 9th volume, Alicization Beginning, to 18th volume, Alicization Lasting. Music. Yuki Kaji Ogura composed the soundtrack for the Sword Art Online anime, which was later released in the limited edition of the anime's 4th and 7th Blu-ray and DVD volumes. The first volume of the second season's soundtrack was bundled with the limited edition of the season's 3rd and 7th Blu-ray and DVD volumes. For the first 14 episodes of Season 1, the opening theme song is "Crossing Field" by Lisa, and the ending theme song is by Haruka Tamatsu. From episode 15 onward, the opening theme is "Innocence" by Era Aoi and the ending theme is "Overfly" by Luna Haruna. The main theme for Sword Art Online Extra Edition is by Aoi. For the second season, the first opening theme is "Ignite" by Aoi, and the first ending theme is "Start Here" by Haruna. The second opening theme is "Courage" by Tamatsu, and the second ending theme is "No More Time Machine" by Lisa, with the third ending theme being also by Lisa. The song "Catch the Moment" by Lisa is used as the theme song to Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale. For the third season, the first opening theme is "Adamas" by Lisa, and the first ending theme is by Aoi. A number of character songs were included in the Blu-ray and DVD volume releases of the anime. These were collected into 2 compilation albums, Sword Art Online Song Collection, which included character songs released in the Season 1 volumes, was released on August 27, 2014, while Sword Art Online Song Collection 2, which included character songs released in the Season 2 volumes, was released on March 22, 2017. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?